welcome to another Warhammer Wednesday. In this, I want to discuss what I want from the old world. Last year, I was going to do a series on Warhammer before I decided Warhammer Wednesday, and what it was going to be whether you can still play Warhammer in 2019 at the time, or 2020 now. And so I started buying the rulebook for the 6th edition. Still don't know whether I'm going to do. Still want to do this project, but something happened. When I decided to do this, Games Workshop announced this. Yeah, apparently we're going to be returning to the old world. Now, so what this video is going to be about is discussing what I want from the game. Now, I should point out that I've never played Warhammer Fantasy before. Going back to when it was popular, rank and file games weren't my thing. Just my cat attacking the mic. Yeah, we'll leave the shot like that, shall we? Rank and file games weren't my thing. I was primarily a role player, really, and then cat tail, and then I moved on to more skirmish-based games with the Middle Earth SPG game, and so rank and file games didn't appeal to me. But over the years, I've matured and I've changed, and I fancy playing a rank and file game. Now, I was thinking of doing sort of something like Kings of War, but it's just the setting. I mean, even though I didn't play Warhammer, the setting is still one of my favourite settings. I've read the novels, I've collected models without using them. I mean, I've got a whole shelf of them up here that I've collected. I played board games set in there, such as Hero Quest, Advanced Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest. Video games set in it, Vermintide, for instance, and the Horned Rat back in the 90s. Ooh. So I thought when I started this, well, if I'm going to do a rank file, I might as well play Warhammer in the old world. So yeah, got the book, got some army books for the 6th edition, got the Empire, Bretonnian, and the Undead. I do want to get hold of Wood Elves. As I said, still not too sure if I want to do this. It will be 6th. It might be 4th or 5th. I'm looking at 5th just because it was referred to as Hero Hammer, and that sort of appeals to me, coming from like a RPG skirmish background, having characters rather than anything else. But yeah, and then Games Workshop announced the old world. Now, really, we know very little about what the old world is. They sort of released, here's the logo, don't expect anything for 3 years at least, and then here's the map on another video. So with that, I guess now it's my video of what I want from the old world. I mean, there's no guarantee at this stage. There's no guarantee that this is effectively going to be Warhammer 9th edition. It could be a whole new game system. It may not be even rank and file. The only clue I've got that possibly isn't the case is the fact that when they first teased it, it was all things that were round become square again, or something like that. It was that meme thing where it was a square base. So it doesn't mean we're going to be getting the return of square bases, I guess. What do you think, Cat? Yeah, he guesses as well. So it seems like it'll be a rank and file game, but will it be Warhammer 9th? Just because it's rank and file, it could be a return to War Master. That had square bases and rectangle bases, but it was in 10 mil. So with that, there's all this speculation. So I'm going to add my speculation of what it is and what I want from it. Now, the first thing is, I actually really do want it to be Warhammer 9th edition. I want it to be 28 mil rather than 10. Now, I've played War Master in the Battle of 5 Armies version of it, which has some videos on the channel about it. Yeah, and so I want it to be 28 mil. And here's the thing. When it comes to models, yeah, modern models are spectacular looking, their detail and everything and their intricacy. But for me, I actually prefer the look of old Hammer models. You know, models from late 80s to mid 90s, maybe even up to the early noughties, the early 2000s. Modern models, yeah, they're technically brilliant. They're amazing. They're stunning, but they just don't do it for me. They're too busy. I mean, give me here's a here's a Chaos Warrior from that's Talisman 3rd edition. Give me that. Here's a white from 80s. Give me these. I mean, yeah, okay, ogres. Look at the ogres we got now, or ogres. Give me that kind of ogre. My cat likes it. That's the kind of ogre I want. That's the kind of style I want. Back then, Citadel Miniatures, Games Workshop, and Warhammer just had a distinct look. It was nice and cartoony. It was bright as well. Even though the world was this grim, dark, perilous place, the models, and it was bright. It stood out. It was different. Nowadays, it's all kind of looks too realistic. It's lost its identity. It's like comparing Fable 1 to Fable 3. You know, you look at the style for Fable 1, brilliant. Look at it for Fable 3, it just loses it a bit. Tries to go too realistic with the odd exaggeration in place. But that's how I describe modern Warhammer models. So yes, the first thing I'd want is I'd want an old Hammer aesthetic as well. So you know, something just fun. Go back to the late 80s, early 90s look. That'd be brilliant. Now, one of the things that appeals to me about the Warhammer world is the fact it's sort of started to be based on British and medieval folklore. And I wish they would take that a step further, to be honest. So take the undead, the vampire counts, for instance. So yeah, great. And in there you got dire wolves. Get rid of those, or rename them to Balgeists, which, if you look into that, that's an English undead black spirit dog wolf thing. Have that rather than dire wolves. Save the dire wolves for the orcs. Keep them, but just introduce stuff like Balgeists. Do a bit of research into English and European folklore and really run with that. They sort of started when it was in the 80s, got so far and then stopped. Really run with that idea. So the goblins, for instance, the night goblins. With mine, I've painted mine with red caps because in English folklore there's a set of goblins or goblinoids called the red caps. Go with that. I mean, in White Dwarf, I've seen articles where they've sort of touched upon it with red caps and things. Yeah, go with that. But apart from that, I'd like I don't want a mass change, but just little tweaks and additions. If you're going to redo and it sounds like they're going to revamp the world by the looks of things and sort of start again. If you're going to start again, go for it. Really go for it. So yeah, that's one thing I'd like to see. That I would like to see it keep its rank and fileness. We've covered that. That's why I want to play it. So with the square bases, that seems to indicate that's what they're gonna do. I'd love that to be a thing that they're just gonna. It's just gonna go back to that rank file, but maybe tighten up the rules. Reading the 6th edition at least, and I've read even the modern 8. There seems to be a lot of bloat there. I would start again and tighten it up. There's a lot of things that just seem unnecessary. Learn from modern gaming, but make it very retro feeling. How you do that is beyond me. Fly but walk at the same time. Maybe asking the impossible there, but yes. Bring back the Bretonnians. That is a must. Because if I can, this video is professional. My Green Knight, he needs some other knights. I do have 2 Bretonnians up there, but yeah, as I said, because even though I never played, I just bought various models I liked, and I liked a lot of the range, and that's sort of the aesthetic I'd really like. I mean, you can have this guy from Mordheim. Boom. And that is a nice segue into, as well as releasing the old world, let's have the re-release of those classic games. Let's have Mordheim back. Let's have a new version of More Time set in the old world, and Warhammer Quest. Re-release the original Warhammer Quest. Do not change it or update it. Just reprint the original version as is, including roleplay book, all the models, all the doors. Don't change a thing. Because whilst the modern interpretations of Warhammer are great, Warhammer Quest are great, such as Silver Tower and Shadows over Hammerhelm, they just seem to be lacking a bit. One, it's the aesthetics of the models. Two, it's the tiles just don't seem as good as the old one. So yeah, re-released classic games set in the old world. Definitely More Time, because I never got to play that, and I really want to play that. Should have made a list for this instead of just inane rambling, really. Yeah, so what have we got so far? We've covered the fact that we want rank and file. I want old sort of mid-90s aesthetic, I guess, late 80s to early 90s aesthetic of the models. That'd be great. I don't care whether they're plastic, pewter or resin. I'm not one of these people that has a preference in them. I think they're all good. I like resin models. I like fine cast. I've never actually had a major problem with it. The little defects I've had, bit of green stuff sorted it out. And even on metal, there's always some sort of touch-up work you have to do, whether it's removing flash, bending weapons back. So I've never seen fine cast as a problem. So material-wise, don't care what it is. Aesthetic, let's go back to simpler, nicer times. We want square bases, rank and file. We want to touch up some of the lore and tidy it up, because of course over the years where things progress, they get a bit messy. So now's the time to just clear away the chaff, as it were, and just keep the core stuff. Maybe tinker with a few things. Introduce Balgeist and some other English, British and European folklore into it. Re-release of old games that are set in the Warhammer world that came out at the same time. That would be great. Warhammer Fantasy roleplay is going strong at the moment by Cubicle 7, so maybe work in conjunction with them to have some dual releases. That would be interesting. I doubt that will happen. Re-release of the novels would be good for someone like me, but not really that, because I've got a lot of them already. But audiobooks, re-release as this game comes out. Before this game comes out, what you can do is make audiobooks of the classic Warhammer novels. I think at the moment the only one I can find is Gotrek and Felix. I think I got the first one and the last two. The last two I've not read yet ever, because it's getting towards the end times and that doesn't appeal to me. First one I've read to death, and I've got the audiobook of that. So more audiobooks. I think there are some horror based ones like Dragonfell, so I'm listening to that at the moment. Yeah. More audiobooks, because that'll be just a nice, surely a cheap way of building the hype for the old world. Maybe, you know, it's a weird thing, but I believe Age of Sigmar players don't really come from the Warhammer background, I believe is the way the statistics go. Some do, sure. Others actually play Age of Sigmar, never played Warhammer Fantasy, so maybe audiobooks may be a good way of getting them into the lore. Yeah, so those are some of the things I want from the game. I guess the main thing I want is it to be released now, but I guess that's the impossible. That's kind of what I want. But what do you guys want from the old world? Leave some comments down below for me to read. Let's have a discussion about what you guys really want, and maybe also what you don't want. I guess the main thing is we don't want round bases, but we're not going to get that. We know we're going to get square bases. So yeah, leave a comment down below about what you want, and let's have a discussion. Maybe we can get a nice list going and hopefully point GW in the right direction. But that's it for this edition of Warhammer Wednesday. Until the next one, guys, take care.